The day you decide to never give up. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you to a street corner in a small American town. It was winter, the kind of bitter cold where the wind seems to cut through your skin, where even your breath feels like ice, and people hurry past with their coats wrapped tight, eyes fixed on the ground, desperate to escape the freezing air. On that corner, sat a man, homeless, tired, broken. His clothes were torn, his shoes had holes, and in his trembling hands he held a cardboard sign with just 3 words, "I need hope." Not food, not money, not shelter, just hope. Most people passed by without looking. Some dropped a few coins, some shook their heads, and others avoided his gaze altogether. But then came a little girl, maybe 8 years old, walking with her mother. She stopped. She looked at him, really looked at him, and instead of turning away, she knelt down, reached into her coat pocket, and gave him a half-eaten chocolate bar. It wasn't much, but it was everything she had. Then she whispered, "Don't give up, mister. Please, don't give up." That man later said that those words hit him harder than the cold wind, harder than the hunger in his stomach. Because up until that moment, he had already given up. He was ready to disappear, ready to vanish into the shadows of despair. But one small act of kindness, one child's voice, made him decide to try one more day. Just one more. And that one more day turned into a week. That week turned into a month. And slowly, painfully, courageously, he rebuilt his life. He found shelter. He found work. And years later, he stood on a stage, not as a broken man begging for hope, but as a counselor helping others find theirs. He often said, "The day I decided to never give up wasn't the day I found strength inside me. It was the day someone else reminded me I still had worth." Now, my friends, this story may sound small. A piece of chocolate, a child's words. But that is the point. It doesn't take grand gestures to change a life. It takes compassion, persistence, and the decision to never give up, not on ourselves, and not on each other. Think about your own life. Every single one of us carries scars the world may never see. Some of you have faced financial struggles so heavy that each day felt like a battle. Some have faced loneliness, heartbreak, rejection, failure. Some have been told, over and over again, that you are not enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not good enough. And in those moments, giving up feels easier than holding on. But here's the truth, the day you decide to never give up is the day everything changes. It doesn't mean the storm stops. It doesn't mean the pain vanishes. What it means is that you stop being defined by defeat. You stop letting failure be your final chapter. You choose to rise, again and again, even when it hurts, even when it seems impossible. Let me tell you about another man, a boy, really, who grew up in the poorest part of town. His father abandoned the family, his mother worked 3 jobs, and every night he went to bed hungry. Teachers told him he'd never amount to anything. Friends drifted away because poverty has a way of isolating people. But he had a dream, to build something that would take care of his mother and give her the dignity she deserved. He failed more times than he could count. He knocked on doors that slammed shut. He started businesses that collapsed before they even began. People laughed at him, mocked him, told him to quit. But he didn't. He refused. He decided, "I will never give up." And years later, that same boy became a billionaire entrepreneur. Not because he was smarter than anyone else, not because the world gave him special favors, but because he chose persistence over surrender, resilience over despair. And when he made his fortune, the very first thing he did was buy his mother a house, the kind with warm lights, full cupboards, and peace she had never known. Now you might say, that's rare. That's luck. But listen carefully, it wasn't luck. It was decision. The decision to hold on when everything else tells you to let go. The decision to push forward when the road feels endless. The decision to never, ever give up. But here is the twist I want you to hear, never giving up is not only about personal success. It is also about humanity. Because somewhere right now, someone is holding on because of you. Maybe it's your child watching how you handle struggles. Maybe it's a stranger inspired by your smile. Maybe it's a friend who feels less alone because you picked up the phone and said, "I'm here." The power to never give up multiplies when it's shared. That homeless man on the street corner didn't survive because he found strength alone. He survived because someone cared enough to remind him that his life still mattered. And so I ask you today, who in your life needs to hear those same words? Who needs you to look at them, really look, and say, "Don't give up. Please, don't give up." Friends, life will test you. It will break your plans, shake your faith, and bring you to your knees. You will face seasons where nothing seems to grow, where every door feels locked, where your soul aches for rest. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to surrender, to the fear, the failure, the emptiness. But it is in those very moments that your decision matters most. Because every great story, every act of triumph, begins the same way: someone chose not to quit. Rosa Parks decided not to give up her seat. Martin Luther King Jr. decided not to give up his dream. Abraham Lincoln decided not to give up after losing election after election. Mothers, fathers, workers, soldiers, teachers, nurses, ordinary people. Every single day decide not to give up. And because of them, the world is changed. So, the question is not whether life will get hard. It will. The question is not whether you will stumble. You will. The question is this: when the weight feels unbearable, when the night feels endless, when your heart whispers, "Quit," what will you decide? And I hope, with every fiber of my being, that you will decide to never give up. Because the day you decide to never give up, you awaken something inside you, a fire that no storm can extinguish, a light that no darkness can smother. You begin to see that your scars are not signs of weakness, but proof that you have survived. You begin to understand that your story, your struggle, your perseverance, might be the very thing that saves someone else. Remember that little girl with the chocolate bar? She didn't know she was saving a life. She didn't know she was planting a seed of hope that would one day bloom into a man helping others. And that is the beauty of it. When you refuse to give up, you don't just change your life. You change the lives of everyone who crosses your path. So I leave you with this: if you are tired, rest, but do not quit. If you are broken, heal, but do not surrender. If you are afraid, breathe, but do not run away. Stand, even if you are trembling. Rise, even if you are scarred. Walk, even if you are weary. Because every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory against despair. And when you feel you can't go on, remember, somewhere, someone believes in you. Somewhere, someone is waiting for you to make it. Somewhere, someone will be inspired because you chose to fight one more day. The day you decide to never give up, is the day your true story begins. And that story, my friends, can change the world. Thank you.